Now welcome back to another painting session. I'll be doing a planetary painting for today's painting session. There won't be any landscape, just normal planet and nebulae, and a little bit of galaxy mixed in there. Now we're going to have two sides. We're going to have the blue and the red. They'll be swirling together with a nebula gas that I will make later on, and be swirling together to this point right there. I have a little dot right there. Might be a bit lower, might be a bit left or right, but this area right here should be where that center point will be. And let me just get me some caps real quick. Alright. Now I'll be talking over all of this. There won't be any time lapse, but there will be skips. Once I'm done with making this, the planets, then I'll skip to where they're all dry for brevity, not to waste time and all that. I do plan to do more planetary type stuff. Not really taking, I'm just going to be taking a break from the landscaping, as they do take up a very long time. And this is very quick, very easy, very simple to do. So I can make much more of them. Good. Gonna have the red here, or the brown rather. There we go. Put that over here. Get the weights off. And this is the template. This is where all the planets will be. I think it's a pretty good. I might even have this for the banner of my YouTube video, or YouTube channel, because I think it's pretty good for a banner anyway. So I'm just gonna put this over here. Now, because I will be talking, I will not be wearing a mask, as you wouldn't hear me a lot. But if you do plan to spray paint, like myself, then I do heavily advise you to have a mask, a respirator, for all of this. Because the last thing you want to do is to breathe in a lot of the spray paint directly. Very unhealthy, very unsanitary, not good at all. But to be fair, you would have to breathe in a lot to get to that point, but a respirator is still a very good idea. But do as I say, not as I do. As to talk, I would not be using one. So the thing I'll start off first is, I'll start with a red planet here. I'll have the Kona brown, this color right here, as the base color for the bottom. Once I have that laid out, I'll start with the base reds, very dark reds, to have that base color to wipe off. And you'll see what I mean when I say wipe off, when I get the texture on with the newspaper. Gonna have more dark reds. Now I'm going to have a bit more light reds. First on the bottom. When I say that, I mean on the back, and more towards the front, the lighter it goes. To kind of have a depth of color as it reaches this point, as that will be where the light is coming from. There we go. I'll wait for that to dry a little bit, and then I'll get the top coat on it, which is just a very light tan. When I'm waiting for that, I am going to make this blue planet. Same principles as before. Dark blues followed up by layering of lighter blues with the lightest of blues on the top. All very routine stuff. All that really makes it special is the colors you use, the pattern, and the texture. The layering also has a good impact on it all. Of course, if you want a much more in-depth about all the things you would ever need to make these planets in a very intricate and concise manner, then I do advise you watch some of my tutorial videos on these subjects, as I do go in depth, very much in depth, into a lot of the things that make a planet look great. This planet is done. Now I will just have a top coat of very light tan on there. Finish it off. 1 minute. Get the right cap. There we go. Now that I have that done, I'm going to have a bit more on there. Now I'm going to have one linear shape. There's one of the textures of planets that I have had a tutorial on. So if you're very interested in this type of texturing for planets, I would heavily advise you watch my tutorial on the subject. Okay, now just give me a moment while I get my gloss can. Because I would like this to be a bit wetter for the texture. There we go. Especially over here. And you get a lot of paint scraped off. What I mean by paint scraped off is, you see the texturing? The top layers, like clouds, is the lighter one that you saw me lay on at the very top. And the darker one that I laid on first is on the bottom. And I'm scraping off the new paint to reveal the older one. That's what I mean when I say that. So there's no confusion, of course. Oh, and I do apologize if I've been quiet. I'll raise my voice from now on. A little bit more, anyway. I won't be yelling, of course. Put that over here. Okay. Now I'm going to put this divider over here, as I will be using this to make the other planets. You'll know why soon enough. Okay. Top coat there, and gloss it all up. Get it ready for the next planet texture, which is going to be very similar, but it's going to be a bit horizontal, more diagonal. Where the other one was vertical, facing its light point, this will be in and of itself wrapping around itself. See? I'll go over a few passes again, just to get a thorough texture on there. That's good. I'll put a bit more on there. A bit more won't ever hurt anyone. I'm also going to gloss it up a little bit. There we go. I just didn't want it to just be red. I wanted it to be a bit lighter. I want to achieve just that by making more passes with a newspaper, peeling it off more and more. Now we have it. Okay, now that we have this, I think it's a good idea to place these down for what I'm going to do next. Now I'm going to do red again. I'm going to put a blue here as a weight to kind of lean it on so it doesn't fall over either side. Either side would be bad, but going over here would be extra bad. I'm gonna make this a bit lighter. I'm gonna make a bit of a moon texture. So I'm gonna have not that much of paint on there, but enough so that it is visible. That's what I mean. Man, at least it wasn't that bad. Okay, I'm gonna need another thing here. Okay, now we should be good. Okay. I'm gonna have a little bit of magenta here for some variety. There we go. And now I'm going to get another color. I'll be right back. I know, not even prepared for my own painting. Shame on me, but I didn't think I'd need this color for this painting. But I do. Now this concept was a bit sudden for me. So do forgive me if I haven't had this all laid out. Alright. Now a little bit of texture here, not a lot. I'm going to be facing the light point. Like so. Yep, just like that. Very good. And now we're going to do the exact same thing for over here. All right. Now, like I said, this is going to be a bit lighter. Enough so that the color just shows, and that's enough. Don't want it to be very wet. And that would be a very, very bad. Just like that. That's very bad. It always happens. Every single time. Okay, now I should be fine. Hopefully. Oh, that's not good. Okay. Please excuse that. I'll just go over this again. There we go. Now I'm gonna have a little bit of purple in here. There we go. I'm going to have a little bit of that white too. There we go. Take this off. And so I could layer this on. Okay, there's a few more. You know what? I think it needs another pass of paint. A redo, if you will. As I don't really like what's on there. I'm just gonna have a bit more paint in there to cover up what's there, making it a bit more diverse in how it's dispersed. And now I'm gonna have a bit of purple in there again. I'm gonna have a little bit of another color in there. Okay. Some lilac purple. All right. Now that I have that, I'm going to have a bigger piece of newspaper to put the texture on that. So just give me a moment. Alright, gonna take this off. Put this on. Be very light with it. Peel it off to see. Looks pretty good. I have another pass though. One more. That's good enough. All right. Now for shading. My least favorite part. I say that because it is quite random. Well, a bit random of how the shading actually looks. So I'm gonna have a bit here on the red first. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Okay, I have that. Now I'm gonna go over the smaller one. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm gonna do the blue. All right, here's hoping it looks good. Good, looking all right. Because usually, if you know my other paintings, this color is notorious for always giving out on me. It doesn't matter the can, it's just always this particular color of midnight blue that always gives out on me. But it seems that it did its job very well today. And to finish things off for protection purposes, I'm going to have another clearing of gloss clear. Not a lot, not a little, enough that it coats all of it for a protective layer, and it dries just a little bit more quicker. Now I'm going to have weights here, and we are all good. Now I'm going to wait for all of them to dry so I can put my flat stencils on them, and then I'll get ready for the space. See you there. And now we are back. Now, as you can see, I have all the stencils laid out and weighted. As you can see, I have very small weights for these. If you do plan to do this at home, I'd always advise to have small, light weights in opposed to very large and heavy weights, as heavy weights on these flat stencils is very likely and liable to stick to the paint that's laying on, something that's very detrimental to your painting. So be mindful of that if you do plan to do this. Now I'm going to have a very dark space background. So I'm going to have some black coats on it. I'm going to have some dark blues here, some reds. The middle will be purple with a little bit of magenta in there. And there'll be some nebula going around, spiraling inward like this motion to this point. Now I'm not going to be heavy with the black paint, just enough so that it's a fair enough coat. This is also not a good pressured can. What I mean by that is it doesn't lay the paint down well, which this makes it good for when I do use this, to only use it in circumstances like this, where I have a lot of space for all those, if you could look closely, all those dots around it to not make its way into the other parts and other shades and colors of the painting. So, as I get this ready, you see there's still some pockets of the painting where there's not a lot of black here, and that is intended. I have this to the side now. So next I have a little bit of blue and red in their respective areas. I'll be using navy blue for the blue side. I'll make it cover a pretty generous area, heading down to the middle right there. Concentrated in areas where it is needed. I'm going to add another shade to it. Oh, tint rather. Some deep blue, 2 shades above. Just like that. A little spike here, get round in. Now I'm also going to black paint over here to kind of shape it a little bit. Not a lot, but just enough so that kind of has a point here. Next up is the reds. I'll have that set up soon. Just give me a moment. All right. There we go. I'm gonna have another tint here. Now this is just going to be one tint above. Okay, there we go. A bit wispier than the blues. I think it will have a good contrast of not only the color, but the texture and style of the paint, as the blues look much more fluid, or the reds more gaseous. So, just looking around, I have some touch-ups. I have some high tints here. Won't have a lot. So this will just shape it into that desired spike, that little curve there. Okay, same with this. There we go. All right. Now just looking, or if there is any colors that is needed. I think we're good. All right. Time for the nebula. Now, first off, I am going to have a bit of a dot in the middle, some spray down, a little bit of purple and magenta here, right in smack dab in the middle, right there. A bit more with the magenta, so we know that there is a mixing point here in between these two spots. Yep, looks good. Okay, now I'm going to have a mix for the blues. I'm going to, I'll start with the reds. I'm going to start with some magenta here. Actually, no, I'll do this plan. I'll do some reds and then magenta for tint, for a little bit of highlight in there. Move that to this side. Just curved it a little bit. I'm going to do the exact same thing here. Alright, I'm gonna move behind the camera real quick. Just get a good position. There we go. That's looking good. I'm going to have some extra layers in here to add a bit more depth, so I'm just going to go a few more passes. A bit thicker. Have that bit of a point there if I could move it, because these little things here are getting in the way. That's not good. One here. It just stays up. Okay. Let's see if this helps. Fair enough. I'll keep it as this is. I have some spiking here, but on that other side, you see that top red? I can't really do much with that. There you go. Enough. Maybe a bit more beefy to the side. That's fine. That's good. Okay, now I'm going to have some pink in there. Some pink highlights. Actually, no, I'll do some berry pink. I won't do that drastic, because I'll show you what the pink looks like. The pink looks like this, and what I will be using looks like this. See? Bit of a difference. This will look much better on the red at this point in time. There we go. Okay. Like I said, it's just the highlights. Just wispy. Nothing crazy. There we go. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to do the blue side now. And this is going to be looking very blue. It's going to look like it'll have this color in it, but I'm going to look at another color. It just to be safe with this in particular. I won't use this. It's too spotty. I'll use this instead. Okay, I'm gonna move these stuffs a bit out of the way so I can move here. Again, I'll be behind the camera for this. Kind of orientating myself a bit awkwardly here. Okay. It's pretty good. A bit more of a spike here. That's alright. I'll cover it up a bit later. At the moment now, it's pretty good. I'm just gonna have a bit more depth in there, some meat on these nebula's bones. Okay, I think that's about it for that. So now I'll have a little bit more here. And that's it. Okay. Now I have some highlights that I'm going to put on here. Just like this, I'm going to have some purple in here. Kind of like a contrast, if you will. Okay. Let me see about another color. I'll be right back. It's too dark. I'm gonna go with the light purple now. I was gonna use a darker purple, but it's a bit too dark. I want the highlight to be lighter than the base color, and that was not gonna cut it. Purple on the tip of the nebula here. In the back here. And here. Continuations and some depth to all of this. Alright. Looking good. Looking alright. I have some more whitening here. That's not good. Okay. Just moving all this stuff away. Just don't mind that. Bit here, and it should be all good. Alright, and it just goes in the middle. Okay, nebula is alright, pretty good. Now I'm going to put that magenta in the middle, a little beam of light. Okay, just mapping it out. And on top of all these colors, I'm going to have, if I could find it, right here, some white. And let me get what I can. All right. A bit more here. Okay, now I'm going to get some. I'll go over it a bit more with the very light colors here of each branch. There we go. I want to get some pure white. Never mind. So I couldn't find the right white. But they should be alright. Oh, this I mean. I'll add a bit more of the off-white here. Yeah, looks alright. I'll extend it a little bit to the nebulas. Just a little bit. And a bit more of those colors, and then we'll move to the stars. All right. Now I'm gonna have some stars in this base, like I said, and they're going to be color coded, as you can imagine. Okay, there's gonna be pink here, bright purple over here. I'll start with the pinks here. Now, like I've said in the other videos, I am having my finger far away from the painting, as to avoid big globs of paint. That's never nice. A bit more on the sides where there isn't a nebula. Okay, once that's done, you move over to the next color. Okay, just a little bit more on the bottom here, more on the sides. Okay, just looking at all of this. Okay. I'm going to add some comments here, and then we'll be all done. Color coded once more. Now you might be noticing each time I have a group of comments, I always wipe the paper I am using. That is to avoid any drip off and runoff of the paint that I spray on the side of this paper. It's very common if you aren't careful. So always keep that in mind when you're doing stuff like this. All right. Looks all good. I'm going to rearrange all of my cans so they look all nice, so I have some space. Now I'm going to get all the weights off and then unveil the painting. And lifting off the stencils for these paintings is always my favorite part, as you never know how it's going to turn out until the very, very end. And that's where we are right now. All right, I'm going to move this over here. I'll move this a bit more. All right, it starts with this one right here. And this, I'm gonna go left to right. A little bit darker than I expected. Not always a bad thing. But it's more just to think about perhaps next time I shouldn't use as bright as colors in the background. I'll leave these stencils nearby. I'll have some gloss coat here to finish everything off. All in all, I do like this painting. It has some good color usage, but it could use some better usages for other areas to make it fit a bit better. Of course, with every painting, add your unique signature on the bottom. I mean, bottom left, bottom right, doesn't really matter. And with that out of the way, you're done with today's painting session. I'll move this out of the way so I can lift this off a little bit so I could show you all the gloss. Now I hope that all of you have enjoyed today's painting session as much as I have. And if you do like what I do take some time out of your day to subscribe to the channel. Comment on the video what you like, what you don't like. Like the video, of course, is always appreciated. And look at the other videos that I have many of. Some tutorials, some full-length landscape paintings, some just normal planet paintings like this one. All in all, I think many of them are very worth all of your watches. And with that out of the way, I hope that all of you have a great day, just as I have after this painting. And until next time, I hope that all of you have a great day. Bye-bye.